Hello, everyone. Welcome to this live stream, this special conversation here with a really special guest, Denilsa Navalha, who is originally from Mozambique and is now a first-year resident at the University of Nebraska. So I'm really honored to have you here with us. Denilsa, thank you so much for joining. I know it's almost a crime to take time away from an intern, from a PGY1. So I'm especially grateful that you were able to make time on your day off, probably, to join us for this session. Without further delay, would you mind just introducing yourself and sharing a little bit about your journey until here, where you're from and where you are right now? Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Thank you so much for inviting me, and thank you for everyone being here. So, my name is Denilsa Navalha. I'm currently a first year internal medicine resident at UNMC, University of Nebraska. I'm from Mozambique, and yeah.
That's incredible. So
Yeah.
we're going to talk all about this journey from Mozambique until Nebraska. And then before I start asking the Nilsa questions, I just like to tell everyone that at the end, time permitting, I'm going to open up the opportunity for you guys maybe to turn on camera and audio and ask some questions to me or the Nilsa. In the meantime, please feel free to use the chat and ask questions. And if I may ask your question to Denilsa during our conversation. I also want to invite everyone to participate in the publication roadmap. This is going to be on September 7 and 8. On September 7 and 8, we're going to have this webinar where I will explain to all of you guys in details how you can learn how to publish with impact and autonomy to advance your career, much like Denilsa did. We're going to talk during this conversation about her papers and about how this helped her in her match. But I actually want to start things chronologically. Denilsa, would you share with us a little bit how was your upbringing, or like how was growing up in Mozambique and medical school there? Just tell us a little bit about your journey in like before and during medical school, if you don't mind, please.
Okay. So before medical school, I did my high school once again in Mozambique. I had the opportunity to go to an international high school where I got a scholarship to go there. And that's where I got to learn English, which I think really stepped the stage. And after that, I got to do medical school in Mozambique. It's a 6-year program, or MBBS. And I was able to graduate being the best student in my class. And by the end of my medical school, I was already thinking about pursuing my postgraduate studies abroad. And it was just very hard to find information because not a lot of people had done it. So I just started reaching out to people from other countries, people from Brazil. They're very familiar with the process, and I didn't have many people um, actually in my country to guide me through it. So I reached out to them. I was able to do my exams. I was able to do my internships. But one thing about the USMLEs, especially right now, is that research is becoming important. So I had received a check as a reward, like as a award for being the best student. And that was at the time that the second edition was about to launch. So that I say investment. Actually, it was a very good investment. So I took my check and I said, I'm going to do this course. And it was game changing because I found myself talking to physicians and medical students from all over the world. When I say all over the world, I mean it. And those people were not just people I worked with, they were friends. And I'm like actual friends because they guided me through the process. They helped me not only with my publications, but also with this journey because it really felt like I was on my own. So they really helped me through it. So I submitted everything. I went to the interviews, and the publications were a recurrent theme because everyone was like, how did you publish with people from all over the world? some of them I haven't seen them. I haven't met them in person. So everyone was very excited about that journey. Like you got to talk to these people, meet these people, and you got to submit these abstracts in amazing large conferences. And you actually published. Like, how did it happen? So that was a constant conversation during my interviews. And I think it really helped. And it got me where I am right now. So I'm very grateful to the Meta Analysis Academy team. Yeah.
That's amazing. Thank you so much for the kind words. So, guys, Denilsa was referring to our program, the Meta-Analysis Academy, that teaches doctors and medical students how to publish papers with autonomy and connects them in strong research groups, like Denilsa mentioned. We're going to talk about that a little more later on. But Denilsa, tell us, did you take the steps during medical school or after? Like, how was your preparation? I know you mentioned it was a struggle to find the information. Not many people from where you are, from Mozambique, had done it before. So tell us a little bit about how was this preparation for the steps for you?
So I took the steps. I think it was before the I started my sixth year. So I started looking into this process somewhere around my third year, started looking for information, started like preparing for it. So I took my step one during before starting my sixth year. I took my step two April 2023. So I had already finished medical school. And then I got my ECFMG certificate sometime around August 2023. And that's the year I applied to the match,
Okay, and so you graduated when exactly? Sorry.
November 2022.
Okay, so you applied the following year. Very good. So
Yeah.
you had done a lot of it during medical school. That's excellent. What rotations did you have, if any, in the US?
It was quite challenging to find some, but I was able to find some as outpatient, two of them, one in Maryland, one in New York, and the third one was in Texas, which was inpatient at a university program.
Okay, great. Sounds awesome. And you got the letters of recommendations at those times. And let's talk about the publications, as you mentioned, which were an important component of your application. During medical school, were you able to publish? And if not, what were some of the barriers that you faced in getting good papers, done during your medical school journey?
I had zero experience with research. I'll be very honest. I think I thought I knew how to read an article. When I started the course, I found out I did not know how to do it. The barriers, it was just hard to reach out to mentors. And I think in my country, research is something that is for, people with PhDs and masters and all of these things that I didn't have. So it was really hard to approach them and have some sort of guidance, even in terms of courses, like where would I go? So I think that was the biggest struggle. So I came in knowing absolutely nothing.
So she means, guys, that she came into the Meta-Analysis Academy. So the news, you said the difficulty finding mentors, and I suppose that's universal. In fact, I'd like people to put in the chat which country they're from. If you don't mind adding, just I'm curious to see where Fabian, Evanilda, and James and others are from. If you could just put it in the chat. And then also tell me, guys, if you face similar problems, if you face difficulty finding mentors in your own country. So Barbara's from Brazil. Where else are you guys from? Turkey, South Africa. I have people from all over here. Okay, so Ecuador. So Denilsa, you mentioned the mentor, and that's a recurrent problem for everyone. So I want to ask you about this paper that you published, and then we're going to get into the paper in a little bit. But I notice here that the mentor here, or the senior author, is Gilson Fernandez. In fact, I know Gilson, and I'm actually going to I'm gonna have a get together at his house today, funny enough. But and he's an electrophysiologist here in Boston, and he did his training at Harvard Medical School, part of his training. How did you connect with Gilson and others in this paper, if you don't mind sharing?
Sure. So I was able to connect with everyone through the Meta Analysis Academy. So I got to meet all of my co-authors within the group. And Dr. Gilson, I was able to, once again, through the community, I sent him an email and it was very short notice. And I was just like, hi, I'm Denilsa from the Meta-Analysis Academy. I'm from Mozambique. Could you please be my senior author? And he was very excited for it. So, yeah.
So it sounds like this was your initiative, right? You had an idea, you had a project, and then you reached out to him, correct?
Yeah. Yes.
So I'm actually going to teach all of you guys how to do this on the publication roadmap, but essentially, what you do is when you have autonomy in your own research, guys, you can go and develop your own questions, your own projects, and you can invite others. You can invite others to participate in your work. So when you do that, you have a higher chance of being successful than just simply asking for an opportunity. Because Denilsa didn't write that email saying, "Hey, I'm Denilsa from Mozambique and I'd like to do research with you." She said, "Hey, I'm Denilsa from Mozambique. I had this idea. I'm doing a meta-analysis on it. Here's the preliminary findings." So she brought the projects for collaboration instead of asking for a project. And that's a game changer. That's what you guys will hear me refer to this over and over as autonomy. This is what autonomy means. It's transformative in your career. Very good. Denilsa, can you tell us a little bit about this idea? I've mentioned it a few times, and I'd like to hear
Mhm.
from you about the clinical question of this study. Why is it important? Sort of like, what are the most important findings that you had with this study?
So, this idea came to us after the publication of a study in Circulation. I think it was back in March 2023. So basically, we wanted to see if patients that have atrial fibrillation and that were on chronic hemodialysis, what would be their outcomes in terms of bleeding and mortality if you compare using DOACs versus VKAs. And it was something new. No, there were no previous meta-analysis on this topic, and everyone was very interested about it because most of the previous studies didn't focus on this population that had atrial fibrillation and chronic hemodialysis. So we set up the search strategy, once again, learned through the Meta-Analysis Academy. We gathered all the studies. And one thing about this study is that we worked on this in like 48 hours. It was 48 hours. It was very time sensitive. And all the team just worked together. Mind you, we have different time zones. So it was like teamwork. And we put it all together and we were able to find that there were no differences in all of those outcomes. And it was selected as a oral presentation at the European Society of Cardiology, which was something major.
That's amazing. So that was last year's European Society of Cardiology. That was in
Yes.
Amsterdam. I don't think it was you who presented. Someone else presented from the group. Is that right?
Yeah. Yeah. Mariana did.
So Mariana presented. Mariana was a co-author and she went to present. So I'm going to take this opportunity because a lot of people have this doubt saying, "Oh, I had an abstract accepted in Spain, in the US, in Amsterdam, like, and I can't go." So as long as someone from your group can go, like in this case, Denilsa is first author, but Mariana is third author and she went to present, everyone gets credit for it. So you guys, you don't have to be first author. You don't have to go to present to get credit as long as someone goes. So again, I want to emphasize the importance of this. This is a great clinical question. It's something that doctors, cardiologists, clinicians, nephrologists face every day, which is the patient is on dialysis, the patient has atrial fibrillation, they need a blood thinner to prevent stroke, and then the NUSA decided to, and her group in that population decided to compare NOACs, which are like apixaban, the bigatrans, mostly apixaban, I would think. So apixaban versus warfarin or Coumadin or antagonist of vitamin K in that population. And this is a great question. It has three studies, three randomized trials, 340 patients, and they found no difference between these groups, giving us some reassurance of using these NOACs in this population. So it's a great paper. It was published in the International Urology and Nephrology Journal with Denilsa as first author. So this is incredible. This is amazing, Denilsa. Congratulations. I know you have other publications as co-author. This is yours as first author. How do you think this was helpful in your match? How do you think this and other publications, what's the impact that you think they had in your application ultimately?
I think it was a great impact. And I would even say that I don't think I would have made it to this specific academic program without those papers. I'll put it like that. Because academic programs, they really value those publications and they really want you to do research. And they were able to see that I was in a situation where I didn't have opportunities. I was able to find opportunities. You wrote the abstract, you submitted, it was presented, and then you wrote the paper. So you started something and you finished. So it shows that you are reliable, you go for it, and you work hard. So I would say overall, it was a great impact. And in most of my interviews, they talked about it. And I think I wouldn't have made it here without it.
That's incredible. So they asked you about this paper during your interviews. Can you share more details on that? Like what did they ask?
Sure. So, the first thing, like I had mentioned, how did you meet these people? How did you get to work with them? And then I explained to them, like I had mentioned, and then they said, I think it was the program director. She said, I think you know more than a couple of my residents. And I was shocked to hear that. So it was a very it was a great moment to know that, if I do go to your program, which I'm at now, I actually matched there. They would be very excited to have me. And she was just talking about the resources I would have. And she was like, I'm very excited. Just a couple of days ago, she was like, oh, we have research. We're about to start. Journal clubs are about to start. So, yeah, it
I'm
really made a great impact.
I'm so proud of you. I'm so proud of you. Guys, so this what the news is describing is unbelievable. So this on the interview, it sounds like by the program director, they discussed her research, and this left a really good impression of someone who comes from a place that's not very privileged in terms of research, coming from Mozambique, and is still able to do research, connect in great groups, publish as first author in great journals. This causes an impression that's it's really of a high value to you when you apply. Program director liked it, asked her a lot of questions about it, and ultimately the Denilsa matched at that program. So again, when I heard this story, it blew my mind. Like it just was so happy and overjoyed that this happened to you, Denilsa. With learning how to do meta-analysis and transforming your career with that. That is really great. I want to ask you how residency is going so far. It's been almost 2 months at this point.
Oh, yeah.
How have you
Yeah.
been surviving there and like how's it going so far?
So far it's been great. I'll be very honest. It's been great. Attendings are very supportive and they're very involved in research. I will not forget one day I was ready to present a case only to find out that the paper I was reading was my attendings, and I was going to use that as the base in terms of treatment. And got my first evaluation, which was amazing. I was very excited to see that. So I'm very excited. I'm loving it.
Great. Is it more work than you anticipated, or is it just about as busy as you thought it would be?
I think it's a little bit more because I didn't think some things are very new, like the healthcare system is different. The patients are different, the pathologies are different. So, but it's different, but it's good. I'll be honest. Yeah, it's great.
Nice. What rotations have you done so far?
I've done rheumatology. I'm now on pulmonology, and next I'm going to cardiology.
You're gonna do so great. You're gonna be
Thank
all
you.
glory there. It will come up, and this has happened to myself and many of our students. It will come up this clinical question, for example, and then someone, either you or someone else, will pull up this paper, just like you did your professor's paper, your attending's paper, someone will pull up your paper as the reference on this clinical question. And if not this one, some other in your future research. That's going to be very it's going to be very humbling experience when people use your own research to answer clinical questions. It's really great. Amazing. How you're liking Nebraska?
It's great. Yeah. I mean, so far it's summer, but I'm a bit anxious about the winter.
Very good. And you're in Omaha, is that right?
Yes,
Great.
yes.
Awesome. I haven't been yet. I have to go. Good. Denilsa, you've had how many papers totally did you have? We talked about the importance of your publication. I talked about that one paper, but just give us a sense of how many papers and abstracts you've had in total, or around the time of your application. How many did you have?
That's a hard question because
Just
it's
a
so
guess.
many.
Yeah, just a guess.
But I know that at the time of my when I submitted my eras, I think I had about 6 or 7 abstracts.
Okay.
And in terms of papers, I think we had 3 already accepted.
So
Yeah.
that's three papers, and we'll call it six abstracts. Guys, so this number combined, the number of abstracts and the number of publications count as research experiences when you put that in your ERA CV or publications. And the NRMP, the National Residency Matching Program, publishes. They haven't done it for 2024, but the one for 2022, they published a number of abstracts and papers that international medical graduates like Denilsa and myself have when we match into residency in the United States. So the average for internal medicine is 6 back then. So with this position, with 6 abstracts, 3 papers, at least one paper, I'm sure some abstracts as first author, Denilsa put herself above average in this number. And that's what you have to be. You have to be above average. You should try to be above average in everything that you can. But there aren't many opportunities in the application for you to be above average. For example, you can't be above average on step one because it's a pass fail. So there's no way to be above average. You can't really be above average on letters of recommendation, or it's very hard because they're all very good. Trust me, no one asks for a letter of recommendation to someone who doesn't like them. So all the letters are good. Some are extraordinary, some are really, really good, and it's hard to differentiate, to tease out who is good and who is not based on letters of recommendations. Same thing for personal statement. If you read 50, like I was a chief resident and I read like 50 personal statements at once, they all look the same. It's very hard, unless someone makes really silly mistakes. It's very hard to differentiate on personal statement who's good and who's not. So it comes down to things that can be measured, that can be quantified, like impact of research, number of first author papers, and of course, a step two score. So on these things that you guys can stand out, don't miss the opportunity to stand out. So step one, you can't, but step two, you can. And then on your publications, like Denilsa did, is a really good way to stand out. Would you agree, Denilsa, that that's a place that helped you to stand out in your application?
Absolutely. Yeah.
Great. So tell us a little bit more now about your journey in learning this. You said that during medical school, you didn't have any experience during medical school, for maybe lack of opportunities, maybe research is only for people who are doing PhDs in your country. So maybe potentially lack of mentors. I don't want to put words in your mouth. I'm just saying traditional barriers for research. So lack of teaching and good research methods, lack of statistical teaching, lack of mentors are some of the barriers that international medical graduates face in doing research. And you had some of these, you didn't publish during medical school. And then within 1 year before you apply, you have now 3 papers, 6 abstracts, you match into a great program. How was your learning journey during this year? Can you share a little bit about your experience in the Meta-Analysis Academy, please?
Sure. So I was able to join The second edition, I think it ended sometime around November 2022, if I'm not wrong.
Yep, that's correct.
Yeah, yeah. So I was able to learn all the steps, like how to, like even the statistics. So you're able to learn exact. Thank you so much for this image. So you're able to learn everything from the beginning all the way to the end, and like how to write a paper, how to submit it. So they really set you up for success. So after that, I was able to join this special group for training. That was an amazing experience because I got to have like a one-on-one mentor, which was Carolini, and I had to work with other people like Nicole, who's they're absolutely amazing. And they would be there to answer all of my questions and guide me through the process. So by March, I already had the first abstract. And it wasn't just one. That the first one was as a first author, but then I had two more as a second author. So it's like a very short period of time we were able to submit it, and then we worked with the papers. So by June, we had some of the papers ready. So everything was learned through the Meta Analysis Academy. And for me, for example, I worked with pairwise meta analysis, but within the course, you have access to whatever it is that you can think of. So if you have other ideas, different than pairwise, you're going to be able to find the resources like the videos, the information, and people like mentors willing to guide you. I did finish my mentorship, but I'm still in contact with those people, and I was able to actually participate in the expert group. I worked with Dr. Kavita, and I'm now working with Dr. Jafar Al Jaziri at UPMC, and Dr. Kavita from UConn. So we actually have a meeting today.
Wow,
So yeah,
that's
so we were able
fantastic.
to work together. We had an abstract, we sent it. I'm the first author. It's going to chest in October. So
Wow.
residency started, and I already have this going. Paper is ready under review. So it just keeps going, even though I finished my course in 2022.
That's brilliant. That's unbelievable. So, guys, Denilsa described the Experts program, which is a program where we pair our students with mentors through an application system within the Meta-Analysis Academy. And Denilsa mentioned two mentors, Dr. Kavita and Dr. Jafar, right? Is it Jafar?
Yes.
So, who are at University of Connecticut and University of Pittsburgh Medical Center. So, like really great academic programs in the US. So our programs, and not are not our program, but research effort by Denilsa, by our students, after they learn our methods, will make these networks, will help you get these connections. We have people from all over the world who are working with doctors in the US, in Brazil, in Europe, people who connect in a really strong community. Like Denilsa said, she's worked with Jilson, who's an attendee in Boston. She's worked with Dr. Jafar at UPMC, Dr. Kavita at University of Connecticut. And she's a first-year resident, believe me. She's this doctor in front of you guys here, she's working hard. She's working up to 80 hours a week, sometimes 60, sometimes 70. They're working her hard over there, and she's still able to do research because meta-analysis allows for this. Systematic reviews and meta-analysis allows for this. How have you been finding it to manage these projects with your residency program so far, Denilson?
It's been hard, but basically I just try to find at least like one day per week where I just dedicate towards it. I'm doing the screening now, which is like the hardest part. And I just, either I find 30 minutes through the week or like just one full day, and I just say, okay, today is like research day because it's also important for my training.
Yeah, that's exactly it. That's beautiful that you guys are able to keep doing research through the busiest times in your career. That's how it happened with me. In my first year residency is when I learned this method like you, and there's just no way. You have to put in the effort, the work. It does pay dividends in your career. Later on, you're going to match into a great fellowship program. You're going to have an outstanding career as a physician in the US or elsewhere if you'd like. And then the foundation for that is getting into a great residency program, then doing a great fellowship program, and really with that advance in your career. Speaking of fellowship, I know it's a little bit early in your training in internal medicine, Denilsa, but what are you thinking for next steps after internal medicine?
Um, I'm considering, yeah, pursuing fellowship. Definitely cardiology is on my mind. Yeah, so I think I'll go. I'll probably go for it.
Do you have a specialty in mind?
Probably cards.
Yeah, I can't
Yeah.
blame you. It's the best one. All right, very good. I'm just curious about what specialty people are interested here in the group. So if you guys could put in the specialty that you're interested in, internal medicine or cardiology or surgery, just so I get a sense of again, neurology for Barbara here. Very good. Excellent. Okay, Denilsa, this is an inspiring story. I want to leave a few minutes here at the end for people to ask questions directly for you and myself after I finish the recording. So I'd like you to wrap up potentially with some advice to people who maybe are from countries like Brazil, Mozambique, Western, Eastern Europe, some places, South America, Central America, people who may come from countries that are not super privileged in terms of research and research opportunities like you and I. And then what advice would you give for someone who's struggling in research, who's really wants to match into a competitive program, wants to go into an academic program, and doesn't see the way of how to do this research, doesn't find mentors, doesn't know how to do the statistics, the writing, the developing of ideas? Can you share some words of wisdom, please?
So first thing, I would say you need a lot of like dedication and working hard because I can give you the tools, but then, which is what happens with the Meta Analysis Academy, but then you also need to walk the walk. So you have to do that. And it will require some sacrifices. Like I mentioned, I was working with people at different time zones. The second thing would be reach out to people, reach out to people and find a research group, which was something that I was able to find through the Meta Analysis Academy. So get more information about this course, join us and be part of the community because it's not just a course where you're given the tools and you're left on your own devices. You really get great mentorship and guidance and opportunities to reach out to those physicians. So I would say that, yeah.
That's good. Essentially what Danusa said, and you guys should really pay attention to what you said because it's really important, is both things, the combination of both things that you're able to learn the method, learn the right tools, and work hard at it. Those two things independently won't do it for you. You can work hard on things that will get you nowhere, and you can have all the methods and the tools and not apply it, and you won't get results. So you really have to have the right tools, and we'll teach you in the Meta-Analysis Academy. The steps that Denilsa said are the 10 different modules of the Meta-Analysis Academy. You learn how to develop ideas. You learn how to build your questions. You learn how to test viability. You learn how to do statistics. You learn how to write. You learn how to submit. And so you learn all these 10 different steps. You will learn this if you join our program. And then you have to do the journey yourself, like Denilsa did. And to wrap up, to finish, I want to show you guys here because there have been many questions, not questions, there have been many folks here mentioning different specialties. And I took the last four that came here in the chat, and I want to show you guys that this doesn't apply just to internal medicine, cardiology, nephrology, like Denilsa did. I think someone mentioned surgery. Someone in this chat said, "Oh, I want to do surgery." So this is a publication from Marina Burla, and it has students students from Brazil, New York, Russia, and Texas. So it has students or learners. Actually, one of these is not a student of our academy, is a doctor in the US, but it has people from all over the world. This is in surgery. This one here is in dermatology. Someone mentioned interest in dermatology. So this is a specific gel for molluscum contagiosum. This has people or students from Russia, from Spain, from Brazil, from the US. So people from Harvard, from Massachusetts General Hospital. So people from all over. Someone mentioned an interest in electrophysiology. This one here has doctors and students from Boston, from Ecuador, from Brazil. And then the last one is someone mentioned OBGYN. So this one here, published in the Canadian Journal of Anesthesia, about using tranexamic acid in C-sections, has people from many different places too. These are all examples of students that, just like Denilsa, learned a way to publish high-impact papers with autonomy. And this is what you guys will learn in the publication roadmap. Again, I want to end this chat by inviting you guys to participate. This is going to be on 7 and 8. And if you're watching this recording later on and it's been September 7 and 8 came and went, you can also join the Meta-Analysis Academy. In the publication roadmap, I will explain to you guys what the Meta-Analysis Academy is and how you can join. And if you guys have passed already the publication roadmap, you can always just join the Meta-Analysis Academy directly. The Meta-Analysis Academy is the program where we teach you these 10 steps. Denilsa took the second cohort, as she mentioned. We're already in class number 6. So if you guys want to join the Meta-Analysis Academy, you can either participate in the publication roadmap or join us directly, join the Meta-Analysis Academy. Denilsa, I'm going to end the recording right now. I want to thank you again for participating, and then I'm going to answer questions from folks here in the chat with you. I want to thank you for participating. I want to congratulate you on your incredible results. It is an honor. It is a privilege for me and for the community of the Meta-Analysis Academy to have you as part of our team. I know that you've collaborated with many of our students, helping them, and they helped you. So it's really a beautiful story, the one that you've developed so far from Mozambique to Nebraska. And I'm very excited for the next steps in your career. Okay?
Thank you so much.
Congratulations. Very well done. All right, guys, I'm ending the recording, and then we're going to stay here for questions and answers, Q&A with folks from the group. See you guys later.